out of this class, and I got to think that most of these guys are on campus. I'm going to pull up the class here, but I think the count was something like 11 early enrollees. So these guys are obviously on campus lifting weights. Six early enrollees. The class was, of course, only 14 total, 5 transfers coming in as well. They're going to have a jump, those 6 guys, because they're on campus, they're with the team, go through winter workouts, and of course spring practice is huge. We could go right to the top of the board, and that's the guy that's supposed to be the most talented when you look at Nigel Kelly or Cyrus Moss, I should say, in terms of that. But who are you looking to make? And the guy that comes to mind when I ask this question is Leonard Taylor. Because here's a guy that right out of the gate wasn't on the field much and never really saw the field that much last season. But in those isolated spurts where he got some reps, he was noticeable. He was already a force. Who do you think out of this batch of players could be a force right away?
Jaleel Skinner. Honestly, I think he can jump a lot of the tight ends we have right now. He's like 6'5", over 220 pounds. He's got physical attributes you can't teach. I think he's a mismatch in a lot of football games if you plug him in. He doesn't look like a true freshman. We have a lot of tight ends at the University of Miami. Larry Hodges just transferred, but I honestly think Jaleel Skinner can compete for a starting role day one just off of his physical measurements. He's a mismatch in a lot of football games. I've said this name earlier. I love Nigel Kelly. I think he's going to be an outstanding player. But Cyrus Moss, these are attributes you cannot teach. He's 6'6", 6'7", okay, over 230 pounds. He's going to put on some weight. Look out. I think he's going to be another special player as well. He comes from Bishop Gorman Senior High School. They run their program like St. Thomas Aquinas runs their football program, like it's a college football team. They come prepared to play at the collegiate level. It's a much easier transition due to the competition they play. I think Jaleel Skinner and Cyrus Moss are going to be 2 names to look out for heavily that can make an early impact at the University of Miami. Those are my 2 favorite players that I can think top of my head.
Good stuff. And then a little bit later, of course, once we get into the summer, Trevante Citizen, Chris Graves, Markeith Williams, Isaiah Horton, Jaden Harris, Ahmad Moten, Matthew McCoy, and Inez Cooper, who was a surprise late signing for the Canes as well. And that group of 6, that 6-pack that's already on campus: Cyrus Moss, Nigel Kelly, Jaleel Skinner, Kamari Rogers, a great corner from Mississippi, Wesley Besaint, and Ja'Curry Brown, who, of course, is going to develop hopefully into that starting quarterback in a couple of years.
I will say this, Mark. Wesley Besaint has a golden opportunity to get a lot of playing time early on. Our linebacker core is not strong whatsoever at all. I don't like the personnel we have. I've been saying it for quite a while. Prove me wrong. Maybe they'll develop nicely, but I think Wesley Besaint can really make an early impact.
Yeah, the running back room is obviously pretty well stacked at this point, considering one Donald Chaney, Jalen Knighton, and then Parrish, the transfer coming in from Ole Miss, and now Trevante Citizen. Be interesting to see how they mix and match guys with different skill sets, different body types, what the distribution of carries is going to be, who's catching the ball out of the backfield and getting some targets.
Mark, I was just thinking about that throughout this show. You got Jalen Knighton, Don Chaney, Henry Parrish, Thad Brown, Cody Brown. I feel like I'm missing a name right now. You basically have 5 running backs, and all of them, besides Trevante Citizen, because he was in high school, played at the collegiate level and got snaps the past season. In my opinion, I think Don Chaney is going to lead your running back group. I think they brought in Henry Parrish for a reason. I think they liked Henry Parrish a lot. So he's going to get a lot of playing time. I think Jalen Knighton, I would hope he gets in balls because I think he's a Power 5 football player. But how do you mix in all these running backs? How do you give them all snaps? Because you can't. you're not going to be able to distribute the football to 4 running backs in a game. So I think you're going to have your 2 primary running backs. You're going to have your third running back. And then the fourth one is going to be on the outside looking in. So it's going to be very interesting. I think you may see a couple players who you thought would be making a bigger impact at the University of Miami. I don't know who. This is on the staff, really. I think you're going to see some players that you thought were going to get a lot of carries during their time, and a new staff came in, and maybe they just don't fit the offense they want to run. I don't know who those guys are, but I think Don Chaney is going to get a lot of playing time, and I think Henry Parrish as well. I'm curious how Knighton fits in this offense with Josh Gaddis and how much they utilize him, because bringing in Henry Parrish, they're going to play him. They brought him in. They're not going to sit him on the bench. It's the reality of the situation.